Hoops through life. Hoops through life.
Welcome to another episode of Hoops Through Life, a podcast where we discuss the women's basketball collegiate recruiting process and transition from high school to college. I'm your host, Elsbeth Bierman. We have two-time ODAC champions today for part 2 of our bonus episode series. And again, by the end of it, I know you'll love them as much as I do. Cyr and Olivia Weinel. They both also played basketball and graduated from Shenandoah University, so they also played with Melissa Smeltzer-Kraft as their head coach. Sierra is from Temple Hills, Maryland. She graduated from undergrad in 2022 with her degree in sociology. She is currently working in childcare at an early education center. Olivia is from Frederick, Maryland. She graduated from undergrad in 2022 and will graduate from grad school in May of 2024 with her degree in forensic and legal psychology. She is currently working at the Center for Alexandria's Children as a family advocate. Thank you both so much for being here.
Glad to be here.
All right, let's get into it. So I typically start these asking the coaches what they first notice about student athletes, but obviously you all just graduated from college and are in grad school. So I want you to go back and think about your recruitment process. When you're making your list of schools that you might be interested in, what are the first things that you would notice about an institution, positive or negative, whether it be academics, the campus, the coaches, anything about that institution? Let's start with Olivia and then see.
I think for me, coming into undergrad, I knew what I wanted to study, or at least had an idea of what I wanted to study. So that was a big marker of what I looked for. So whether they had those degrees or not, like specifically the criminology program, because a lot of schools had the psychology, but not all had criminology. But then also just like the atmosphere of the school was like probably the biggest thing I looked at is how did it feel to be on campus? What was it like around? That kind of thing.
What about you, Sierra?
I didn't necessarily start with the list. I was honestly really just winging it. But as soon as I found the 2 schools that were actually interested in me for basketball, it's like, okay, how far away is the school from my home? How much does it cost? Are the people genuine and nice, and will I fit in?
And so what was the other school again that you were looking at?
Bridgewater.
Okay, so those schools aren't even far away, Shenandoah, Bridgewater, not from one another. And so then, Olivia, for you too, like what you said, it had to be education, or the academics had to line up, and then the feel when you got to the school. Did you have the same approach as Sierra, where it was like, okay, what schools are interested in me? Or did you say, okay, I'm interested in these other schools as well? Or how did you balance the athletics and academics?
I think it was more who was interested in me. And then from there, it kind of like went deeper into it. But it started with who was interested in me for the basketball aspect.
Okay. And so then as you were going through the whole process, what was something that made you nervous or uneasy, and like who did you lean on to help guide you or give you advice as you were going through the recruiting process and making your decision? And so Sierra, go first, and then Olivia.
I think the part that made me the most nervous was having to talk to the coaches. Yeah, that was very nerve-wracking, and I don't know. I went with my mom, my grandma, and my grandfather, so I was really leaning on them for support during those conversations and those meetings and stuff.
So recognizing that you might have to speak to people, how did you work through that nervousness or concern?
I don't know if I did. mean, I don't know. I answered with simple yes, no, probably, maybe answers. And I think that's probably how I got through it, most of those.
Yeah. And I know if memory serves, your I think your commitment announcement goes into that too, because wasn't it you were sitting on the couch in the office and then your mom was like, "Oh my gosh, you haven't told them yet because we
Yeah.
didn't know that you had decided already that you were going to come to Shenandoah."
Yeah.
And then that was how we found out, which was amazing and all of that. But so like like looking back on that, if somebody is in your shoes, like they're nervous to talk to coaches or whatever, like what advice could you maybe give them, or what's something like after reflecting that you might be able to say to somebody who's like also very nervous?
Um, just come prepared, more prepared than I was. I like I said, I was winging it, so I didn't really come with any questions or anything like that. So just do your research and be confident in like what you want out of your 4 years in college.
Yeah, I think that's good advice because I think, especially for me, like if I'm nervous about something, preparing for it makes me feel like a little bit less nervous as well. So, yeah, I think that's good advice too. So, Olivia, same question. Like, who did you lean on? What made you uneasy about the process?
Um, I think I don't have as much trouble talking. Um, but it was still like a nervousness and like a confidence factor of having to come in and be confident, but that's like where it was nerve-wracking because I don't know, you didn't know how to like prepare for it very well. And each visit was very different depending on the coach, the environment, like meeting the girls, the interactions you had with the girls was very different. Um, so just nervous overall. But I leaned on my parents, obviously, and my high school coach, Coach Easterday. She guided me through a lot of it because I didn't really know if I even wanted to play in college until late junior year, early senior year, and she kind of, helped me type up the messages to coaches, how to react to things, what to say, what not to say, what kind of questions to ask. So she helped me a lot figure that path out.
And so I was just very hung up on the idea that you weren't even sure if you wanted to play. And that would be so sad if you decided not to. Like you had such a great experience. I introduced you as Olivia Award Weinel. That's not your middle name, but it could be your middle name. Everybody just Google her name right now, and I'm sure the 10,000 awards will pop up. So you're just shaking your head.
I
But
am shaking my
yes.
head.
So no, but I think that's amazing that your high school coach was able to help you so much because I know that wasn't like Sierra's experience, and I'm thinking back on the interview that I just did with um Sarah, Brooke, and Deandra, who are your teammates. And well, actually, now that I think about it, Deandra's high school coach did help her a lot. Sarah said, I mean, Sarah was legacy, Jordan was at Shenandoah. We talked about that a lot. And then Brooke, I think she was pretty like in charge of the process, as you all can imagine, knowing her personality. So yeah, I mean, I think that, and I told them, and I'll tell you all too, is like, that's why I really enjoy your class because you all are so different and you had such different ways of getting to where you were and different experiences. And that's why I think you all can offer so much to people because there's a wide range of experiences here. But yeah, I just completely forgot where I was going with that to begin with. But so you talked about your high school coaches helping you throughout the process. Looking back, is there anything that either one of you might do a little bit differently, or are you kind of happy with how it turned out? Or even if you're happy with how it turned out, like, is there anything that you all might have done differently with the knowledge that you have right now?
I don't think I would have done anything differently. I loved my experience, and I think the support I got from my high school coach as well as my parents and in selecting where I wanted to go, it was a lot of decisions that I got to make for myself. I didn't, obviously, they helped me through it, but ultimately it was my decision to make. And everybody that supported me through that time was emphasizing that it's my decision to make where I felt most comfortable. So I don't think I would change.
So I think it's awesome when people or when parents kind of say like it is your decision and where you want to go, but how did you come to that decision? Like how did you know this is what Olivia wants? You know, like because I just think about it, you're 18 years old, and I'm sure like where you are in your life now, you're like, oh my gosh, I knew nothing then, right? And then when you become 30, you'll probably say the same thing about right now at 22, 23. And so it's like, how did you make that decision in your mind of like, this is what I want?
I think, visiting each school and kind of getting a feel for the school. But also, like, the communication I had with the coaches went on for quite a while before I made my decision. So I got to see the interactions that I had with each coach. And my interactions with Coach Kraft just felt the most natural, the most easy, the most comfortable, as well as it was ideal location for me. It was far enough away from home, but I didn't want to be too far away. And it honestly went back to the atmosphere of Shenandoah, the academics, the campus, the people. Like, I just really felt at home when I went on my visits there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so Sierra, kind of, or a similar question of like when you were going through that process, making your decision, how did you focus on what you wanted? Like, what did that thought process look like for you?
Excuse me. It was more of a feeling. Um, so when I went on a visit to Shenandoah, like I felt at home rather than at Bridgewater. It was, I don't know how to explain how I was feeling in the moment, but looking back on it, it's like I would not have fit in at Bridgewater. I know that for a fact. Like the the people, it's not that they weren't nice or anything. It wasn't my crowd, wasn't my flow or anything like that. And at Shenandoah, I just felt very welcome.
For both of you, at the essence of it, it sounds like it was like a feeling, like you just felt like this was the place deep down, something about it. And that's what Deandra had said too. And that's kind of what the other group said as well, is like they just felt at home, and they mentioned Coach Kraft making them feel very comfortable on the visit and making their family feel comfortable, which was something that was very important to them as well. So it sounds like you all are kind of all on a similar wavelength when it comes to that. Let's move into like the transition to college. How did you prepare physically and mentally for that first semester, first year as a student athlete? So I would say like speak to the academics and to the athletics. And so Sierra, we'll start with you and then move to Olivia.
Um, it was it was different, but not like extremely different, especially with academics, because because in high school, like you have your set schedule this day, you have these classes, these subjects that you have to go to, and it's not that it's very different when you get to college because you still have whatever day you have these classes and the next day you have these classes. It's just the times and the freedom that you have in between each class is it's very different. So for me, um, when I got to college, I was class, sleep, basketball. And that's literally how I made it through like the first semester. It was different, but it worked for me, I guess.
So how did you prepare? like leading up to that first semester, it sounds like high school gave you a lot of the prep on the academic side. So how did you prepare physically and mentally for the basketball side of things?
There wasn't much preparing, really. I know this sounds crazy, but I don't know. I don't know what was going through my head around that time. I was like, I'm leaving and I kind of want to just chill before I have to get into playing consistently like that, like I was before in high school again.
Hmm. So
So go ahead.
no. I was just gonna say, so it sounds like your form of preparation was more so like a break to rev up. And that was kind of one thing Brooke said too, is she said that she was coming off of an injury. So like her preparation looked a little different because she had to scale back. But I know that you all got like a workout packet and things like that. So like what, now I'm like curious, like, did you do the workout packet, Sierra?
I did. I looked at it. I did. Listen. I didn't do it how consistently we were supposed to do it, but I did do some of the exercises and stuff. Yeah.
All right. I hope Coach Kraft is not listening to this episode because I'm not sure if she knew that.
Hey, it worked out. It worked out.
It did work out for you for sure. So,
Mhm.
Olivia, same question, preparation, physically, mentally, all of that.
Academically, I'm kind of like Sierra. I didn't really prepare anything academically other than I knew I was a morning person. So I liked, which Sierra hates that
And
because
as
she's
she's
not.
shaking her head now.
Yeah. But I'm a morning person, so I would like to get up and get my stuff done for the day earlier. The classes are better. I kind of knew that going in, and I'm not a nap person, which is also opposite of Sierra. So I never really got any naps in, so I usually used free time to like get ahead on the homework kind of stuff and just be done so that when basketball came in the evening, I was like done with school for the day.
So is
Um,
that how you became a triple major? Yeah.
you can thank Dr. Smith for me becoming a triple major because I had the two, and then I had taken a couple Spanish classes, and she was like, you know, you should just make this a major. Like, just go ahead and do it. And I was like, all right, why not?
Yeah.
And then the third major came
Appeared.
about. So, yeah, I didn't really prepare academically, but
Fair enough. Yeah.
physically and like mentally for basketball purposes, I worked out with Mackenzie Mathis a lot because she was had the experience of being on the team for a couple years. She was in the same county. We went to like different high schools, but she was still in the area. So like her guiding me through the workout packet, um, and then also just doing stuff on my own, like playing pickup when I could, playing against people, going to old like AAU practices, um, just focusing on what I needed to work on in my head was how I prepared.
So then do you all like thinking about that first year, like do you think you prepared adequately? Is there anything that you would have changed? So let's Sierra shaking her head, so we'll get to her, but let's go opposite now and we'll go Olivia first.
I don't think what I needed to prepare for the first season I could have done. Mine was really
Okay.
fouling
Oh, yeah, that's
and
right.
like travels, like
Yeah.
which I could have worked on the traveling, but the foul purposes it's just so different in the ODAC from my high school experience of how physical we were allowed to play in high school to how you can't even touch somebody in the ODAC.
Yeah.
Um,
Or like AAU, you can probably tackle somebody, but in college, that might be a technical foul.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I don't know that there was much other than the footwork that I really could have prepared myself more for. I was probably in like I was the fittest freshman year probably.
And then what about mentally?
Mentally, I just needed to be tougher, but not like from other people being hard on me, from me being hard on myself. I needed to kind of straighten that out myself because I was really hard on myself, even starting in pickup if I missed or whatever. So Sierra knows because she yelled at me multiple times freshman year.
So then, so then how did you work through that? Like, what did that look like? Because I would hope that you're not still just as hard as on yourself as you were back then.
I'm not. I'm still hard on myself to some extent, but I'm definitely better than I was freshman year. I think I just had to focus on having fun and playing versus what I was scoring, what I was doing. Um, I really had to focus on just letting the game come to me versus me forcing the game on myself, if that made sense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So I hope that makes sense to other people. But what about you, Sierra? Is there anything you would do differently? Did you think you prepared adequately for that first year?
Um, yeah, no, I didn't prepare adequately at all for that first year. Um, just with the athletic side of it, I could have worked out way more than I did. But I think I don't know, going into the first year and like the first practice and everything, or not the first practice, but you know what I'm trying to say, the first
Hmm.
season of practices, the many practices. Uh, I don't think I could have really prepared for what we were going to experience. Um, I didn't. It wasn't hard for me, I would say, but I'm like a very kind of go with the flow type of person. So throw me in there, I'll figure it out. Um, and like Olivia, I was hard on myself, but not to the point where I didn't see basketball as being something fun. Like I've always thought it's something fun, something that I love to go and do. And I was never like in a headspace where I didn't want to go and practice, didn't want to go and play and stuff like that. So I think like that first season was just threw myself out in there and figured it out.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like you were like, all right, here's the I don't know, like here's a surfboard. I'm just gonna jump into the wave and kind of see what happens and just kind of figure it out as you go. But you two said something that is not uncommon because the other group just said it was nothing that you could have done would have prepared you for that first year. But what I'm curious to know is if there's anything that could have made you more prepared, because I do agree to some level, people telling you all day is one thing, but like you actually experiencing that firsthand is kind of what prepares you for second year, third year, fourth year, whatever. So is there anything that you think could have made you more prepared, whether that be physically or mentally?
Um, I think kind of taking, for me, it probably would have been easier to just kind of be like Sierra and go with the flow, like just jump in with it. But honestly, I don't really think there's much that you can say that prepares you for it because even if I told you to prepare for one thing, there'd be another five things thrown at you. Just like the sheer amount of like how tired your body is. Like you don't understand that until you are doing 4 hours of practice in one day and lifting, and it just doesn't prepare you. Like your body doesn't have that feeling, so you kind of have to get used to that adaptation and how to push through the soreness.
I agree with Olivia.
Okay, that's yeah, I think that's a good point too, because
Yeah.
your body is just something different. And so all I would say to that is sleep, water, and stretch. I mean, those are the three biggest things that anybody can do. And you might think that it's like it is that it's not that simple, but it is kind of that simple. Like you need to prioritize your body because it's a long season and people get injured all the time, and that's not
Mhm.
it's not what you want. I mean, yeah, you two were barely walking by the last game of your senior year, and it was just like I don't even think even if we won that like NCAA game, I don't know what that would have looked like the next day because
Yeah.
you're barely, I don't know, I felt like we were like taping you all together. So So yeah, so there's that. But another thing that came up, which I thought was interesting, and I didn't necessarily expect them to say, is Sarah said that one mental block that she had her first semester was like she was lonely. So she said her roommate wasn't really there. They were playing field hockey. So that was her first time ever being like alone, and she had a hard time making friends. So not exactly that same thing, but were there ever any mental blocks like that you all had to work through that first semester, first year, whether it be related to basketball or not?
I think the only mental block for me that first semester was how much I was spraining my ankles. I was spraining my ankles back to back to back in practices and games. Um, and pushing through that mentally, I had to cut back a lot on what I was doing and not being able to perform how I know I should have was difficult for me. Because I typically like to do things to the best of my abilities, and not being able to move how I know I should was hard. But I was able to lean on our trainer, April, uh, my teammates helping me, just adjust to the drills and things that we were doing, or just taking the time outside of practice to help me like move around and things. There were moments where I was in a boot and I couldn't really walk to class and stuff like that, and just having my teammates there to take me to class and things like that.
I think mine was just more mental blocks in my own head of not like I had a lot of people around me, like with my roommate and some of the older girls that I got really close with that I would spend a lot of time with. But just in my own confidence as a player, I think was one of the biggest blocks that I had to get over was like that I was a good player, but I had to keep reminding myself that because I didn't always feel that way.
Because of just like things that you were telling yourself, or were there outside things that were kind of reinforcing that thought?
Um, I think a little bit of both, mostly for myself, but I was very fortunate to play freshman year, but I also didn't play a lot freshman year. There would be games where I'd get in 2 minutes
Hmm.
or whatever. So, like, getting over that hump of having to keep working to earn that playing time, it was frustrating a lot of the times. It was hard. I mean, it
It
was.
is,
It
yeah.
was. You put in so much time and effort, and there's a lot of people who want to play, and only five people on the court. So, just working past that kind of mental block, I'd call my parents or I'd call my old high school coach and be like, I'm down bad right now, and they would kind of pick me up.
Were there ever, I mean, I think I kind of know the answer to this, but I'll ask it. Were there ever any moments for either one of you? Because I know you both played a lot throughout your 4 years, but was there ever a moment where you thought, oh, like screw it, like I'm done. I don't want to play anymore, or I might want to go somewhere differently, or what did that look like? So, I mean, were there ever any moments like that for either one of you?
Yes. Not that I wanted to leave, but that I like was like, do I want to keep doing this? But that was all because of COVID. Because of like it was COVID year when we had the shortened season.
Hmm.
Um, I was going through a whole different things like personally, like with my mental health, like just whether like basketball related, I guess. But I mean, we had a lot of conversations, you and I, Coach L, about just, taking the time to like even meditate before practices. Like I would take 15 minutes and sit in silence. And I had to do a lot of that year because after the shortened year, I was playing a very different position that year because of our team dynamic. And I had just really thought about like, do I want to come back next year? Like, do I really want to put myself through this again?
Thankfully you did, two-time ODAC champion.
I did, but it took a lot. It took a lot from talking with you, with Coach Kraft, with like girls like Sierra, Brooke, all of them. It took a lot. It took a big toll on me, but having the team and those people, they're my people. They're still my people. Was what pushed me through to
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, and I think and that is the biggest theme and the biggest thing that's like eye-opening to me to this conversation and the conversation I had with your teammates is it's like the people around you, and that could not be more true of like they talked a lot about leaning on each other, and they would pull each other up and not like pull each other down or sit and complain with each other. It was more so like support and like uplifting. And I just think about what if you were not in that type of an environment, right? Like, what if you were in an environment where people would just let you complain or complain, they would complain with you. Like maybe you would have quit, maybe you wouldn't have played. So I think in life, in the recruiting process and everything, when you're choosing a school, choosing the people you want to be around is one of the most important things because they have such an impact on how you approach the day, how the energy you give, the energy they give you, the decisions that you make. So I think that that is very important what you just said about leaning on those people and having those conversations. So, I mean, Sierra, what about same question to you of was there ever a moment where you were very frustrated or feeling down or whatever?
I guess looking back, the COVID year that we had, 2020, was probably the hardest for me, um, because of how I guess alone we were, or how much time we spent just by ourselves and not um like with each other with my teammates as often as we had in the previous years. um that was definitely a struggle for me. But we did have our Zoom calls, playing, what was it, werewolf on Zoom and stuff. So we found our ways um to spend time together. Um and I think that really helped all of us get through that year.
So, oh, sorry, Olivia, did you have something you wanted to add there? No. Okay. So we talked about in college a little bit. I mean, thinking about when you were in college, like the perspective that you have now, is there anything looking back that you wish you had done more of or that you would change or anything like that? If you could tell if you could go up to move-in day Olivia and say, "Oh my gosh, Olivia, you have to know this." What would you tell that 18-year-old version of yourself?
Um, excuse me. I'd probably tell my like 18-year old self like don't stress as much. Like just have fun with the experience that you have. Spend the time with your teammates. Spend the time playing the sport you love. Spend the time doing your schoolwork, but just don't stress as much. Just have fun with it. I think that's probably what I'd tell myself.
I would tell myself to go get involved in a club or something around campus. Go make friends with something outside of basketball.
Okay. That was one thing that the other group had said too. Like that was their big focus as well, was like make friends outside of the team because you spend so much time with them. You might want an outlet or somebody else or just like another group of people who maybe don't even care about basketball to like talk to and things like that. So, well, Sierra, I'm curious to know because you came in undecided and then you decided to graduate with a sociology degree. Can you talk a little bit about your academic evolution of, yeah, just can you talk a little bit about that?
Okay, so your first year, first semester, you have to take all these general education courses. So I was like, knock that out the way. That's gone. We don't got to worry about that anymore. Um, and then there were a couple of courses that I took that had to do with religion. And I was like, this is cool. Maybe maybe I can do something with that. But then that didn't that was like, nah, that's too it's a lot going on there. Came to the end of my sophomore year. It was like, you gotta pick a major. I was like, oh no. It's like, I don't know. So one day I'm just in the car, I'm chilling, riding with my grandma, and I'm like, I wonder, I wonder why people do the things they do or say the things they say. And I was like, sociology. And that's really the why I picked it. That's it.
That is
Yeah.
the story. That is the story. So, but I mean, I guess the point I'm trying to get to is that a lot of people do come in undecided, and a lot of people change their majors and or add a major to Olivia's degrees. But like, so it's just there are a lot of different paths to get to where you want to go. And so I kind of wanted to get into the thought process of like, how were you feeling during that time when you were like undecided? Were you like, oh, were you building your schedule based on the idea of like, oh, let me see if I'm interested in this, and this, or whatever? Like, how did that work for
Yeah.
you?
So I was working with my advisor. I forgot what they were called for a second. I was
Yeah.
working with my advisor on trying to figure out like what exactly my interests were. Um, and so we were putting different classes on there, like uh, uh like some sociology classes, religion classes, um, gender and women's studies classes, criminal justice classes, and it's nothing really stuck out to me except for the sociology classes. Um, but in between, like taking those classes and stuff, you and Coach Craft helped me, work through that with career services and things like that. So I was never not trying to figure out what I wanted to study. It was always a person or a resource that I could go and reach out to help me with that.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Olivia, I know that you had your intentions going in, and if memory serves, you had a lot of credits already. So, I mean, can you talk a little bit about your academic evolution too, of maybe not trying to figure it out, but there were things you needed to figure out. So, like, what did that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I always knew the area that I wanted to study in. But finding what in that field I wanted to actually do changed drastically. Like coming in, I was like, I'm gonna be an FBI agent. I'm gonna do profiling, like, kind of like Criminal Minds. Like that's what I'd watched. That's what interested me in the field to begin with. That's what I thought I wanted to do coming in. And like starting those classes really give you like a reality check of like, nah, this is not TV. It's not. And so many people have that expectation because the shows interest them and that's what gets them looking into that major. But then you realize, no, this is not. There's so much more in the field um, that you could do. And so it took me, I didn't really know an area until senior year of what actual job I could see myself doing in the future. And like, it's even changed now since being in grad school. Like I always wanted to do advocacy, but now it's more evolving into like I want to be a forensic interviewer. So that's even shifted in the last year and a half just from experience and like internships and like putting myself out in the field and trying different things.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too of like being open to different possibilities or ideas because a lot of times a job that you may really like you've never even heard of. So it's just about like figuring out what's out there. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so let's talk about the transition, like out of college. This question I have, it might be, I don't know, hopefully it's not a confusing question, but as I was writing it, I was not sure. What's something maybe like an experience or an event or just, I don't know, something during college that at the time it felt somewhat like insignificant or just very minimal, but when you look back, it really like had a lasting impact or like moved you forward? So let's start with Olivia. If you need a second, take a second, but we'll go Olivia, then Sierra.
No, this is the one that I struggled with the most of like your questions because I was like just writing down some ideas and I was like I don't know if there was one
Yeah.
one thing, one experience, but like what I will say is like all the little moments that I had on the bus with the girls, in the hotels when we would travel, like those little things, like I miss so much of just seeing my best friends every day. Like me and Sierra just getting to catch up, like before while we're in the training room. Me, Brooke, and Deandra, like we warmed up together, and like those were some of my favorite memories of just getting to catch up with them about our days. So like I don't think I realized how much I would miss being around my people. Like, yeah, we all talk very frequently still. We're all in a group chat together. Like, we talk frequently, but it's not the same as seeing each other every day.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
best
no,
I
I think
could
that's an
I could
excellent
really think
answer. No, I think
of.
that's an excellent answer because all those little moments add up and it's like the glue, right, that holds everything together. So, Sierra, is there anything that you can think about?
This isn't as I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it isn't as put together as Olivia's.
That's okay.
But
I'm nobody's as put together as Olivia.
I think having access to a gym and a weight room and trainers and coaches, people with experience, life experience and things like that was very was very impactful. Because
Hmm.
now I don't have easy access to that. I gotta go pay for a gym, find people to go work out with, play basketball with. Um, I mean, there are people I can have life conversations with, but it's not the same because you were seeing these people every day, and you go from doing that to just not being near them. Weird. It's weird, yeah.
Yeah. It's hard too. It's
Hmm.
weird. It's hard. It's just like how do you, because you had a whole community
Yeah.
and then you're done and then you just remove yourself from that whole community and it's like what am I supposed to do now? So I think yeah, I mean like you both are kind of going through that. Like can you speak to even though you're in the middle of it, like what are things that you think have helped you or what are things that you think might help you?
Um, I think like during the summer I was coaching little sixth graders. My one of my old teammates from high school had asked me to kind of help coach her, and that helped a lot actually. I just miss being around the game because yeah, you could watch games, you could watch whatever, but like being in the heart of it all, in the practices, in the game scenarios, like that helped me a lot to just be around the game again. um, Once I moved down to Virginia, like finding the league and getting to play again, that also really helped me because I felt like I was back somewhat in a sense of it
Hmm.
again. But that atmosphere of like the team lifts is never the same. Like I go to the gym and I'm like, where's Big Booty Mix? Like, where are my girls? Like, why are we not like Deandra being like, I'm having to lift the bar down for Deandra because we would lift the
Hmm.
same, but we're very different heights. So, like, you don't get that again. So, the little things like coaching and playing in like leagues helped give you a little bit of that feeling back, but you don't get that true team. I don't know. That's something I can't get over is how much I miss that
Hmm.
feeling.
What about you? See, anything come to mind?
Similar to Olivia, I was helping this girl from my church train for basketball. And that helped a bit. I was also that summer, like right after we graduated, I was also playing basketball with my brother and his friends and my cousin and his friends. And even though that's died down a bit, they're almost like a year and a half later.
Hmm.
Um, I still go and play sometimes, but like Olivia said, it's not the same at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually I talked on the phone to one of my old teammates from college on Wednesday, this past Wednesday, today's Sunday. And I was just giving context for people who might be listening. And, um, and one thing that we said was we were just talking and we just said we had so much fun. Like it was so much fun. And she just mentioned like she doesn't know for herself if like she's had that much fun again, and as like an adult. And I think that that looks differently for a lot of different people, but that's just something that she had disclosed to me of like it was so much fun and nothing. And I think what she was saying was like nothing has compared to that experience that she's had. So not saying, I don't want to put words into her mouth saying that she's never had fun, but like the idea that, like you both said, just encapsulating that it's just so different than anything else you might experience. And that was the other thing the other group said was just like really not taking advantage, but appreciating the time. That's what they would have done more, is like appreciating those moments a little bit more. When they were in them is kind of what they would do. Man, I feel like this just took a turn to like for something else, but I do I still think it's good. But what so like you both have been removed for about a year and a half, Sierra. You just said that. So like what has been the most surprising thing to you about like life after playing basketball? Whoever wants to go first.
Um, I can go. I think just with working consistently, 9 to 5 every day of the week, except for the weekends, just how much time you don't really have outside of that.
Mm.
At least for me, that's what I'm noticing. Like I get home and I'm tired, I'm beat. I'm like, it's time for bed. Don't care about anything else. Um, I will say I have some time on the weekends, but it's like those days I want them to myself because of how much I am working and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's an excellent observation. What about you, Olivia?
Yeah, I'd agree with Sierra. I think um, like adulting is hard.
It's so
It's
hard.
so hard. And like, yeah, you're adulting. I'm doing that in air quotes. You're
Yeah.
adulting in college because you're on your own. But like, when you're working full time, like, you are on a whole nother level of adulting. Like, having my own apartment, doing grad school, like, that is a whole nother level of adulting that I don't know that I was prepared for.
Yeah, back to the original one of the original questions is like, could anything have prepared you for it? What could have best prepared you for that?
I
You're
don't
both just shaking your head in silence.
I don't know. I don't think you like I just don't think we talk enough about like what adulting looks like and what the responsibility really is, how to handle money, how to, save, how to spend, like those kinds of things. Like we started to have those conversations towards the end, but until you have to be the one to experience it and you have to be the one in control of it, I think it's a very different situation.
Yeah, because it's not relevant until it's relevant,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I'm waiting for. I gave away a free budgeting lesson for somebody for Secret Santa, and they've never collected. So I'm just waiting for that. Sierra, any thoughts on what could have best prepared you for like adulting life?
I'm with Olivia. I don't think anything could have really really prepared you. That's the word, prepared you for that. You just have to experience it and figure it out from there.
Yeah.
Lean on your supports, I would say. Like, I still text Sierra. I'm like, I miss you so much. Like it's just even like those little things that like the
Hmm.
catch up there, or like talking with them about like we're both so exhausted and what we're doing like from work every day. It's like, all right, I'm not alone feeling this way. Like Sierra's feeling that way too. Like it's not just a me. So I think reaching out to people and like still having those conversations helps with the adulting factor of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we're just about at the end. And these are questions that I ask everybody. So, what book or podcast would you recommend every incoming first year read before their first semester or year begins, and why? Whoever wants to jump in.
I'm not a book reader.
Well, podcast or anything
I
like
don't
that.
really listen to podcasts either.
So it's legit work, sleep, eat.
Yeah, literally, that's it. But if I had to give some advice, I would say trust in your instincts and lean on the people around you.
Yeah, I think that's good. Olivia, book or podcast?
The book that I thought of, we read it during my basketball career, was Dare to Lead by Brene Brown.
Mm. Yeah,
Um,
good one.
I still use her quote, "Clear is kind, unclear is unkind," on like a daily, not daily basis, but almost like it's always in my thoughts because it can be applied to so many different areas, the professional world, the basketball world, to anything that you do, really, relationships, anything. So
Hmm.
that's one of the biggest quotes that I got from that book that still impacts me today. So I definitely recommend that book, Dare to Lead.
Yeah, that's a good one. And so then what is something about the recruiting process or transition, either into college or out of college, I guess, that you believe is overlooked by a lot of high school students?
Um, I, I, I said like the fit has to be for you. Like I don't think you need, like, I personally didn't focus on the divisions. I didn't focus on, how what like how ranked the school was, different things like that. I focused on the fit for me, and I think that sometimes gets overlooked because of those other factors. So find a fit that's best for you and what you want for the future. And if you don't know what you want for the future, what feels best at that moment, that fit has to be best for you.
The responsibility that you have for yourself being away from home and making sure like you're doing the right things, you're keeping up with school and sports. That's something that your parents aren't going to be there to be like, you do this, things like that. So you got to make sure you're holding yourself accountable um in those situations.
Yeah, I think that's a really good answer. And so last but not least, any final little tidbits of wisdom you want to give out there? Any nuggets, or have you said them all?
Fit fell for sure. Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
If you all explain that, then I'm gonna have to mark this episode as explicit, like I had to mark the other one because of Sarah Sondrel.
Oh gosh.
Are you gonna explain it, Sierra?
You got it.
FitFo is just something we used on the basketball court to kind of say, figure it the F out. I didn't use profanity, Coach L, for you there.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Um, but we just use, I mean, I think it's applicable to so many different situations. We applied it to the basketball court of figure it the F out. Like, there's no way we're going to determine how we're going to handle it, so just figure it out. So I think it can be applied to a lot of different situations as well in the real world.
For sure. All right, so is there anything you all want to plug at your jobs? Are they hiring? Are you looking for a new job? Do you want to let people know where they can follow you if they want to learn more about you, anything like that?
My job is hiring. Flagstone School in Alexandria. I'm pretty sure we're hiring for all classrooms, so infant, toddlers, juniors, seniors, pre-K. So from infant to age of 5.
So if you want to work with Sierra, then go ahead, submit your application. What about you, Olivia?
I don't think we're hiring at my work.
Is there anything you want people to know about your company or like, because they do some cool stuff, right? Family advocacy, things like that.
Yeah, so we're a child advocacy center, so we work with different allegations of abuse specifically and prevention of abuse. So if you want to learn more about the signs and symptoms of child abuse and how you can stand up for children to take the risk off of them, go to the Center for Alexandria Children's.org.
There you go.
That sounded like a recording.
It really does. It really did. And this show is sponsored by. So, yes. Okay. Well, I appreciate both of you all for being on so much. And I'm sure that everybody got a lot out of it.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for listening. If you're looking for more specific recruiting advice based on your situation, head over to hoopsthroughlife.com today to schedule your free 30-minute strategy session with me. We will discuss where you currently are in the recruiting process, where you want to go, and create a plan to get you there. Again, that's hoopsthroughlife.com, hoopsthroughlife.com. And if you have any questions for me or questions you want me to ask future guests, you can email me at l@hoopsthroughlife.com. That's el@hoopsthroughlife.com. I look forward to hearing from you soon.